What is good, Rush Rivals? This is Lord Tenrai, and I'm back at it again with another Rush Duel Best Decks video. This time, wanting to highlight my Red Eyes Royal Rebel deck, which took me to King of Games rank for December 2023, just before we go into the new year, and just before the new ban list was implemented. However, obviously using a ban list implemented deck so that I don't cheat my way to King of Games post Goha Rush Festival. If you do like this deck list and similar content that I've been pushing out these last few months, please like and subscribe. And if you have any requests for content, whether it be ban list predictions, reviews on the ban list, upcoming cards, anything like that, deck requests, please request those in the comment section below and I'll do my best to accommodate you. Coming into 2024, I am going to be quite busy, but I already have an idea as to what deck I want to KoG with for 2024, and hopefully, if time permits, might even be able to enter a few community tournaments. So fingers crossed, those endeavors prove fruitful, and yeah, here's hoping for an excellent 2024 for Rush Duels and for Duel Links and for Yu-Gi-Oh players alike, right? Anyway, without further ado, let's go straight into the deck list. So I think this is a pretty standard Royal Rebel Red Eyes list. The question that you are probably asking right now is this the best way to play Royal Rebels? Quite frankly, I believe so. I think that this might be a hot take as well, but quite frankly, the list that we have, the current card pool for Fiends, obviously including Royal Rebels, right? I think it's awful. I don't know if it's the worst of the card pool in the game, but I really do not like where Fiends are at the moment. Obviously, we will have more support as the game goes along, but I had a lot of problems, in the early game, drawing stuff like Growl. Because if you just draw a 1 of a Growl and you can't really set up anything in terms of activating the effect to tribute over the tribute and start swinging over things, then it becomes really hard. Similar with Rocker, right? If you draw Rocker really early, then basically you're just going to set the Rocker and then it's just going to be a free body because it has very, very low defensive stats. So personally, I really like this version of the deck list because of its ability to recycle Red Eyes and Tribute at the same time for effects, which pair excellent with Heavy Metal, which, quite frankly, I know I was talking a lot of smack about the Fiend card pool. This card, let alone not just the best Fiend in the game, it is quite possibly one of the best cards in the game. Every deck I've seen is trying to squeeze this in at 1 or 2 copies just so they can steal matches, because this is a match stealer, quite frankly. Like I was saying in my previous video with Dragoncasters, I've had it in the lobbies, right, in ranked matches, not just ranked but Goha as well, right, where this card will just destroy my average hand. If I have I don't know, a 2500 beta and a set, and this guy tributes over a tribute and then destroys my 2500 beta and is able to successfully clear the face down without having to use Heavy Metal, I mean 5k to the face, whether it's early in the duel where I've only got 1k left or whether it's just straight up killing me, quite frankly, it's either incredibly hard to come back from or it's just devastatingly destructive, right? This card straight up wins games, and quite frankly, it is obviously the only reason to play Royal Rebel. And what will be interesting in the future, depending on how the ban list goes, whether they start changing how many copies you can have of Dragius and stuff like that, will we see more of this card come into play over Dragius? That's something I'm interested in seeing. Ultimately, I don't think it's the case, but this card is, quite frankly, the reason why I'm even talking about them in the same sentence is that they are just that good. They are just absolute game stealers. And it's quite frankly the reason we're playing the deck. With the reason why we're using the Black Dragon Rising is because we can shuffle in cards that, quite frankly, we just do not want for our Black Dragon's Chick and for the Red Eyes Black Dragon. We have to have Black Chick in the hand for the skill to work, to draw or to swap out a card for Red Eyes Black Dragon, obviously. But the reason why it works so well here is that you can obviously tribute the Black Dragon's Chick for the Red Eyes Black Dragon, normal summon a Gazelle, and then boom, Royal Rebel, activate effect, start swinging over stuff, huge damage. Just super sacky deck, right? And I'll be honest with you, I had to change up the deck list because what I was playing before, it just was not cutting it. I had a very difficult rank 5 in KoG. I will even show you what I was playing with before, but basically it was this list, but instead of all of these traps that I had here, I basically had 2 Pierce and a Reincarnation. So I was just all in aggro, and dude, I got so frustrated. I was like, this card sucks. This card sucks. And like, I just got really upset over the Fiends. Like whenever and like even this card, like sometimes I'd just have Kuribot and I'd have Paku Paku in the same hand with both a feast, a requirement fulfilled for either of these cards. And obviously you're just gonna go for the Paku Paku because you want to reconstitute your deck, especially if you're shuffling in another Paku, rather than paying 500 to get a Kuribot. Where if you're playing against, for example, a Luke pre-banlist deck for Dragonic Resonance, or even a Roa mirror match, you know, but minus 500, you could get OTK'd next turn. So I didn't like seeing any of the Fiends when I was playing the very aggro build of like 4 Pierce, 2 Pierce, and the Monster Reincarnation version of the build, right? So I ended up going for a bit more defense in the end, rocking 2 Princess Recitals and a Barrier. The Barrier comes in clutch because it allows us to shuffle in our heavy metal, whereas like in a normal full build, we would be able to retrieve heavy metal with Rocker. Obviously, this is just not possible here, and Barrier allows us to shuffle in our heavy metal so that we can start making plays again. I mean, alternatively, what you can also do is shuffle in Chick, so that you could try and hard draw Chick so that you can bring back Black Dragon if you already have a few copies of heavy metal, or even Growl just to close out the game if you really need to decrease the attack and close out the game, especially if you're playing against a deck that you know runs more Recital than Barrier, then or sorry, not necessarily Barrier but Phantom Bind, then absolutely you know, go for the Growl play, because this card will come in clutch and it will win games. Something that's more appealing that I would say is probably asking a few more questions as well is the new Beast Engine that's coming up. This did get first place. The Beast Engine, I mean, got first place in Gohar Rush internationally, globally, worldwide, right? Quite frankly, I'm still kind of figuring out if I like this engine or not. I do think that having 3 Paku Paku instead of the 2 Seahorse Carrier, that does come up. However, I don't know if it's just poor luck, but I was drawing like lots of copies of Paku Paku early, and it just made playing duels a lot harder. And quite frankly, like, I obviously, you know, normal summon Gazelle is way better than normal summon Kanan, but setting White Tiger or setting Gazelle is way worse than Kana, right? In my opinion, it's way worse. So I didn't really like that. However, I will probably end up trying the Beast Engine again for Yami Rulers, and just, you know, changing it so that it meets the requirement of the the Celerity skill, if you know what I mean. But yeah, when it did work though, it was great. Like, you know, I would like normal summon Paku, grab back a Gazelle, and then, like, you know, you could even use the skill to trade in the Gazelle that you just got for your Red Eyes. Yeah, very, very versatile sort of monster. When it works really well. And when paired with Hammer Crush, you have so many good targets. I mean, it's basically the exact same targets as you would do here, except now though you can actually send Paku Paku because it can shuffle itself into the deck. Whereas if you discarded Carrier, you cannot shuffle Carrier back into the deck with Carrier's effect, right? And you can't pick it up. So this is, I feel like, a bit more versatile, which is why I want to try in Yami Ruler. Hopefully it ends up working out well. Ultimately, we're just going to have to see. But really, that is the deck list. Just like the way that you're going to play. I mean, I'll show you the replays anyway, but the way that you play this is that, you know, if the opponent is being really defensive, you just have to wait until they start opening up their monster lineup, and then you start swinging in for big damage. You can also play a bit more aggressive as long as you have the back row necessary to survive a turn. Recital is really important because it allows you to keep your monster so you can tribute for obviously for your 1 card, and then that way you still got 4 cards left to complete your play, right? Which is, like, you know, incredibly important in card economy. And obviously speaking, some of these are interchangeable. If you don't want to play the Beast engine, right, you can put in the Aqua engine. If you do not want to play Hammer Crushes, you can play your Ghost Cyclones. If you do not want to play Barrier, then you can play Phantom Bind. However, I do feel like Recital is really important. Once again, do not have to play Recital. You can even just play 1 Recital and then add in a Reincarnation so that you can grab your monster back from the graveyard. This card is especially good when you have a Beast monster that you can send, or alternatively, even sending your Red Eyes if you have to. If you have it in the hand, send the Red Eyes, grab something like a Growl, for example, or a Heavy Metal. Growl to, like, finish the game, Heavy Metal for, like, a huge push, and then you can use the skill to shuffle back in a card that you just do not need, frankly, as long as you have Chick in hand, to then get back the Red Eyes. So yeah, when the deck worked, it was extremely fun. However, I find that this deck is really frustrating, and I'm kind of on the fence if it's a best deck or not. A lot of people were telling me, you know what? I'll just tell you guys. I'll let you guys what I think about the deck in the replays coming up. But yeah, that's it for the deck list part of the video. I will now show you some replays in Gold 5, ranking up. Hope you enjoy. What's good, duelists? As you can see, got King of Games for December 2023. And we're just going to go straight into some replays. I don't want to take too long with this video. I already spent far too much time faffing around with the deck list portion of the video. As I was alluding to, my thoughts on this deck, I don't like it. I really don't like it. I'm much rather looking forward to Yami Ruler. Don't get me wrong, I might change my tune, but like I said, I really struggled getting to KoG with this deck. I am very, comfortable with saying that it might have been me. Maybe I'm just, like, not playing the deck optimally. But yeah, I really didn't like this deck. Hands like this really frustrate me as well. You basically just have to play, like, you have to have your Red Eyes on the field. I mean, I don't know if I made the right choice here by using the Chick early and just setting all my cards for the 5-card draw. But it ended up being that way, and thankfully, I didn't get punished too hard for it. So he goes for the Phoenix Dragon. He's setting up, obviously, his tribute, getting the Bunker Strike. This is obviously pre-nerf Luke Dragonic Resonance. Thankfully, he shuffles in the Slayer here, which is huge. It means that we know that he can't tribute over it. Obviously, at this point, we widespread ruin the Piercing Dragon Bunker Strike because, even if this, like, 1 back row is a widespread ruin, as long as we draw tributes, we should be able to lay in thick damage this turn. However, didn't draw spectacularly well, but I mean, the Hammer Crush really does come in clutch here. We're going to be able to, lay in 29 points of damage. We set the Palace Gargoyle just in case, and yeah, going again for more damage. So we're setting the Palace Gargoyle here just to, like, take it easy, not do too much, pushing, because we know that if he's playing pre-nerf Dragonic Resonance, that, like, this could, like, if you overcommit, even if he has 100 life points left, it can kill you. And we keep the Black Dragon's Chick so that we can beat over whatever they bring out next. Yep. So he gravity press, activate effect, nerfing down the Royal Rebel heavy metal, so you can get Dragius on the field, so he can start swinging twice. However, he has no back row. This is a very comfortable W for us at this point. You know, just activate skill, trading the Pierce. This is when I was running Pierce and the Reincarnation. I really did not like the package. It did win me some games. I'm not gonna lie to you, but the lack of defense really hurt, and it just made the deck super sacky. Anyway, we're gonna like go straight into heavy metal, just BMing here, popping the Dragius and just swinging for lethal. We don't even swing with the heavy metal; we swing with the Gazelle. Pure disrespect, and that's the first W. I think after this one, I actually lost the following matches. So then this right here, from this point onwards, this is the 5-win streak necessary for getting King of Games. Rower v Rower. It's so difficult, right? When you see Rower, you just assume they're playing heavy metal, and that just makes you play so differently. However, we very early on figure out that he's obviously not playing that. He obviously tributes for the Dragius. He's got 2 cards left in hand. I don't really agree with that play, but it is what it is. We shuffle back in the Paku. We activate to grab the red eyes. We're going to normal summon the chick, activate. We're going to set the tiger and set the rest of our lineup. For some reason, I'll be completely honest here. I was kind of like, I was distracted by my 3-month-old son, and I didn't attack, right? But thankfully, it's okay. We still get the W. We just gave him a free turn because, you know, we're just that good, right? So we give him a free turn, Thunder. For some reason, he doesn't overcommit. I don't know what his last card here is, but it's a very unlucky card. I have to give him that. He's going to Dragius here, just swing, and then we let him take out the White Tiger so that, you know, we have beasts in the graveyard for future plays. We activate Recital to keep it up. You know, obviously, we keep the red eyes. Bit of a misplay on his part. He should have really hit the red eyes first, then attack the face down. So we're going to use Growl here. Activate effect of Growl. Unfortunately, we milled the barrier, but it is what it is. Activate the chick. And this is the synergy that I was talking about earlier, right? You can get so much momentum just by tributing Red Eyes for a Growl and then going for the skill and extending plays. We set the Paku and we set the other Hammer Crush so that if we really need to, you know, if they pop a Hammer Crush here, which they will do because they have the Hammer Crush draw skill, it's absolutely fine. He does Hammer Crush for Hammer Crush, then Reincarnation, bringing back the Dragius. At this point, I'm kind of like, well, what's he going to be able to do here? He actually has a pretty good monster lineup. He can basically take care of our board. At this point, I'm like, damn, I wish I didn't give him a turn earlier. But we do bring it back. Paku, activate effect, shuffle in the other Paku, grab the White Tiger, set the White Tiger, go straight into heavy metal. And then we basically play defensive. You know, we know that we have more heavy metals in the deck. We have more chicks in the deck. We have Growls in the deck. We can get over this. However, he draws exceptionally well and gets another Dragius on the field. Mills the Prima and the barrier. We have to widespread here. We have to do that, so we widespread. Takes out both Gazelles. He has the chick, so we're gonna set tribute for another heavy metal, and he knows what's coming, so he scoops. That's what it's all about. Like, honestly, like game states like that, it's just super hard to come back from because you're just so far behind. And if they've got a monster that's a tributed monster, and they can make it survive the turn, and you see heavy metal come on the board, you know, that's 5k. You just scoop. Frankly, you just scoop. I've done it. You've probably done it. The deck's annoying. Anyway, we draw exceptionally well here. 5-card draw. We just like set everything, right? And pass. So I see Shout. I assume that this is the full version of Royal Rebels, like the Fiend only version, I should say. The major difference with this, I feel like, is that it can facilitate what's that trap called? The King's Trap, right? The one that it basically is a negate attack. It can facilitate that exceptionally well. Do I think it's worth it over the Red Eyes version? I just don't think so. It's a bit more defensive, and then when it explodes, right? He gets the heavy metal here, activates effect. He's going for it. Unfortunately, we only have, I think, Recital and Barrier. Yeah, so there's no point. We keep that for later. Shuffle in. So we shuffle in one of the heavy metals, activate Gargoyle's effect. We pop the heavy metal with our tributed heavy metal. We then summon Chick, special summon Red Eyes, swing over with Red Eyes, and then lethal, and he scoops. Yeah, that's it. That's the thing, right? Like average hands like that, where you're using all your resources and all you have is a face-up monster and a face-down monster. Yeah, no back row, nothing like that. And you got 5k health. You think you're safe? You're not safe. You are absolutely not safe. That's why this deck's good. I don't really like this deck, right? I think it's just super sacky, and you can get sacked as well. If you don't draw very well, you get boned, right? You get absolutely boned. But these 5 games, I drew exceptionally well. There were loads of games where I drew like absolute dog doo-doo, yeah? Anyway, we draw the Widespread Ruin, so obviously at this point here, we're going to use it on the Kime Ruler, and then hopefully we draw into some tribute so we can start laying some damage. We don't draw into that many, however, we can still put damage on the board. We're going to tribute 2 monsters for Red Eyes, tribute 1 for Growl, and then summon a Gazelle, and do a ton of damage here so we can get as much lead as possible. 300 life points left. I'm very confident here because even if he summons a Yami Ruler and obviously activates effect here, as long as we draw a Growl, we win the game. We drew Growl and then we just go for lethal, and that's it. Yeah, and he scoops. Frankly, if we did not draw Growl there, he might have been able to make a comeback, but just draw that out, innit? Just draw that out. That's the one thing I will say about the other version of the deck as well, is that you have far more targets to be able to like tribute level 5 and 6 and then swing into Yami Ruler. However, I still feel like Growl is the only way for this deck to out Yami Ruler, because even if you're summoning a Summoned Skull, unless you're able to buff it with like what's it? The dancing psychic. I forget what its name is. I can't believe it. But the one that buffs the attack by like 400 if you have like monsters on field that face up. You can't beat over it with a summoned skull. So it can still be quite difficult. Anyway, this guy draws relatively well. He pops the barrier. However, we do have a widespread row. We are going to use it. Because I'm sniffing mad damage, and we get it. We get the damage, right? At this point, like, even if this is his own widespread ruin, we're just going to lay down as much damage as possible. Even if it's just Red Eyes and Gazelle, that's still 49. Yeah, so we don't get lethal, but we get 49. And that's a huge lead, right? But this is pre-nerf Dragonic Resonance that he is playing. So, fingers crossed we can obviously, get the out to this Dragius here. So we go straight for the skill, shuffle in the Gargoyle because we just don't really have a use for it. Normal summon the Chick. We could have possibly have normal summoned Paku, but like then we'd have to tribute the Paku with the Red Eyes, and I just don't really. I mean, look, thinking about it, right? We could have saved the Chick for later, set the other Paku, and then just tribute over it, right? I think we still would have had a monster left in hand if we made that play, which might have been the correct play, now that I think about it, so that we can get the Red Eyes back if we have to. But yeah, fingers crossed, like, we just draw into another Chick later on. But, it's always nice to look back over these matches because even now, I'm thinking of, like, other ways to improve my duel, right? To get better. All right, so double bunker strike. He's going to attack over these guys. We have a Gazelle. Unfortunately, we can't activate Paku Paku for effect. We do have Gargoyler, which is just fantastic. Gonna activate Heavy Metal, activate effect, pop, set. We just chill out. At this point, we know it's lethal. If it's the thing is right, this version of the deck, we do not care about their Phantom Bind, so we know that unless they are cooking with a widespread ruin, we don't care. Barrier, we don't care. Princess Recital, he can't activate it. Phantom Bind, we don't care. So, you know, just keep that in mind, right, when you're choosing the version that you want to play. Right, let's go into the last game here. So this was for the KoG rank up. He's rocking the heavy metal playmat. I think he does use the heavy metal version, the one that's not using the Royal Rebel exclusive version, not the Red Eyes build. Yeah, so we're setting both of these here. We summon the heavy rebel so that we can go for our 5-card draw here. A bit risky, I have to say, but thankfully he's not able to do too much on his first turn. I kind of made a pretty big read there, and it worked out. So we're gonna activate Hammer Crush, Tribute, and then we're just going to start knocking on the door, right? However, we are very, very unfortunate. We get the attack order wrong. We hit the flute in the middle, and then this last one's a Feral Imp. So he has it on field. At this point, I'm scared, quite frankly. At this point, I'm terrified because he normal summons Gargoyle, and he has 2 Tributes. Tributes the Shout, Heavy Metal. The only solace is that I know I won't die here, and that I have Chick. However, his attack coordination was really good. He does not hit Black Dragon here, which he knows that I'd be able to recoup with the skill and then nerf down his heavy metal. At this point, I'm like, right, can I draw a tribute monster? I do. I draw another heavy metal. I pop the heavy metal, and then I activate the skill in due time. And then I reduce. And then I normal summon the Chick, special summon the Red Eyes, normal summon the Gazelle, and I just start laying into his life points. I swing with heavy metal first in case like he does like a Phantom Bind or a barrier or anything like that that could destruct me. It was a barrier, so the attack coordination was correct there. And then, you know, we get the 15 here. We're looking very, very good. 800 life points left. However, normal summon Gargoyle, heavy drive. We know that we're in trouble. Another heavy metal is on the way, and quite frankly, there we go. Heavy metal, activate effect, pop in the Gazelle. Once again, attacking into the heavy metal, which is absolutely correct. We just we just need growls, and we do get them. This draw's not excellent. We would obviously die to a widespread here. We're going to go growl into growl, and we're just going to bet that he does not have the widespread. If he does, it could be a GG, but we have to make that bet here. We have to make that gamble. If it's Recital, it's fine, and we get it. And that's the KoG rank up game. We really betted hard on that not being widespread. If that was widespread, we could have easily have lost the game there. Don't get me wrong, we had our own widespread, but they might have had back row removal. They could have had lots of different options to get around our own back row. And quite frankly, even if it, you know, he didn't have to get around back row. He could have still laid a lot of damage on me, and it would have been a top deck situation. Don't get me wrong, 4-card draw there in that situation is not terrible, but it was squeaky bum time, and I came out on top. The reason why you go ground to ground there is that even if it is Phantom Bind, I don't think that there were enough fiends to stop me from getting lethal. Barrier obviously doesn't matter. Recital would have mattered, and Widespread Ruin would have mattered. But thankfully, he did not draw the out, so we ended up getting King of Games. Probably won't play this deck for a while because it was a very stressful King of Games this month with this deck. However, I'm glad to have followed it through and actually get King of Games with this deck. I'm looking forward to trying Yami Ruda next month. I got like a prismatic bonded bowing from the Goha Rush, so I'm looking to flex that. And yeah, thank you very much for watching the video, and have a lovely Christmas and Happy New Year. Stay safe, all the best. See you in the next video.